Welcome to Concept with Justin. Picture the first impression, a defined threshold that signals transition from street or house into the oasis. Imagine a gate, or a framed opening in a hedge that reveals a short, curving path rather than a straight run, pale, permeable stones set into wide joints of thyme or moss that release aroma when brushed. Visualize the path teasing the eye with glimpses, a low seat tucked between planters, a bronze birdbath catching light, a tall pot with a specimen tree that draws the gaze downward into leaf and shadow. The description is of a staged arrival. The benefit is psychological. A composed threshold slows movement and cues the body to let go of hurry, turning arrival into an intentional pause. Move inward along that curving route and think in terms of 3 compact, interconnected rooms rather than one cramped rectangle. Envision a shaded lounge corner nearest the house with a deep bench and cushions, a central planting bed that forms the visual heart, and a sun pocket at the far end for herbs or a small vegetable trough. Picture low-level layering, ground cover and edging herbs closest to the path, mid-height shrubs and perennials in the bed, and 1 or 2 upright standards or small trees to give vertical punctuation. The image is nested rooms. The benefit is functionality in perceived space. Defined zones make a small yard feel larger and purposeful because each area serves a clear habit: reading, growing, or socializing. Consider canopy and vertical structure as the architectural framework that produces shade and screening. Imagine planting 1 or 2 small statue trees, a slender amelanchier, a columnar hornbeam, or a compact Japanese maple, so their canopies knit a dappled ceiling at 8 to 12 feet. Where soil is shallow, place a pleach tree in a deep pot to lift the canopy without heavy excavation. Picture vertical green elements, an espaliered fruit against the wall, a trellis of jasmine by the seating area, or a screen of bamboo in a narrow side bed. The benefit is microclimate control and privacy. Verticals reduce harsh sun and wind, increase evapotranspiration for cooling, and create a sense of enclosure that still allows sky glimpses. Think about texture and repetition to give clarity in a small plan. Visualize swathes of 3 to 5 identical perennials, a drift of nepeta by the path, a line of lavender along a low wall, rather than many singletons. Per course, glossy leaf plants like hostas or phormium with fine-textured grasses such as festuca or pennisetum to create tactile contrast. Repeat container types or colors to unify disparate corners. The image is composed gentleness. The benefit is legibility and low visual noise. Repetition organizes the eye, making the yard feel calmer and larger, and simplifies maintenance and irrigation. Weave scent deliberately through thresholds and seating areas. Imagine lemon thyme in the path joints, a rosemary standard by the bench, and night-scented nicotiana or jasmine under the eaves so evenings spill with aroma. Visualize clipping a sprig of basil or mint from the herb pocket near the kitchen door as you return from watering. The benefit is emotional. Scent anchors memory and habit, so olfactory cues at key moments convert the space into a lived ritual. Morning coffee smells of citrus thyme, dusk is scented with jasmine, and the garden becomes intimately familiar. Add a small water feature. It does not need to be large to be effective. Picture a shallow bubbling basin at the focal end of the yard, or a narrow recirculating rill tucked along the edge of a planting bed. Even a tabletop fountain will suffice in tight sites. Imagine the gentle murmur masking distant traffic and drawing birds in for a drink. The image is subtle movement and sound. The benefit is cooling and acoustic comfort. Moving water increases humidity slightly and creates a calming soundscape that lengthens the time you want to stay outside. Choose paving and ground surfaces with tactile comfort and hydrology in mind. Envision pale, permeable pavers for the main circulation to reflect heat, a strip of decomposed granite for informal stepping that yields underfoot, and wide joints sown with moss or low herbs for softness. Use reclaimed timber decking or warm stone in seating nodes to keep surfaces pleasant to bare feet. Include a shallow planted swale or gravel band to intercept roof runoff and let water infiltrate rather than pool. The benefit is comfort and sustainability. Permeable surfaces reduce runoff, lower surface temperatures, and connect the yard to natural water cycles. Select containers and planters that add compositional flexibility. In small yards, containers are your friend. A pair of matching large pots flanking the bench create a composed entrance. A line of troughs along a sunny wall holds herbs and dwarf vegetables. And tall, narrow planters give vertical emphasis without occupying much floor area. Choose materials with complementary textures. Terracotta for breathability and warmth. glazed pots for seasonal pops of color, and corten or concrete for sculptural weight. The benefit is adaptability and quick impact. Containers let you experiment, move plants with seasons, and establish immediate scale. Plan sunlight pockets carefully so each plant thrives in its niche. Map morning, midday, and afternoon sun across the yard for a few days to understand microclimates. Use sunniest corners for Mediterranean herbs and vegetables, lavender, rosemary, thyme, dwarf tomatoes, and reserve shadier microclimates beneath canopies for ferns, hostas, and shade-loving perennials. For highly exposed sites, pick wind-tolerant, flexible plants like lomandra or carex. The benefit is plant resilience. Matching species to microclimate reduces stress, lowers replacement rates, and keeps the oasis consistently lush. Layer seasonal interests so the small garden never feels static. Start with spring bulbs or early flowering shrubs, daffodils, camellias, viburnums, for early cheer. Let summer be the season of herbs and nectar-rich perennials, salvias, echinacea, nepeta, that attract pollinators. In autumn, grasses and sea heads give structure and late color, and in winter, rely on evergreens and bark texture for presence. Use containers to provide seasonal accents, summer geraniums or citrus in pots that can be wrapped or moved in winter. The benefit is continual reward. A well-sequenced palette gives you reason to visit the yard across all seasons. Think biodiversity at small scale and include habitat features. Even tight yards can host life. A shallow birdbath on a pedestal shaded by a shrub, a small log pile tucked behind a pot for insects, a native flower corner to feed bees, or a tiny bee hotel affixed to a fence. Avoid broad-spectrum pesticides and encourage beneficial insects by planting nectar-rich species. The benefit is ecological richness and natural pest control. Biodiversity animates the oasis and contributes to plant health through pollination and predation. Integrate lighting so evenings are inviting without being harsh. Imagine warm low-level path lights guiding the way, a few discreet uplights at the base of specimen trunks to reveal texture, and a soft pendant or string lights over the seating nook to make dusk feel gentle and intimate. Use warm LEDs, 2700 to 3000K, and timers or dimmers to automate scenes. The image is layered nighttime atmosphere. The benefit is extended use and safety. Good lighting makes the oasis comfortable after dark and ensures safe movement on steps or uneven ground. Make sound and privacy part of the plan. If the yard borders a noisy street or neighboring windows, add a vertical sound buffer, a green screen, trellis with dense vines, or a student of shrubs like viburnum or laurel, and place the water feature to mask noise. Use planting massing and small berms to lessen direct sound transmission. The benefit is a quieter, private feel. Sound control makes the tiny oasis truly restful and conducive to conversation and reading. Choose materials and finishes that age well and feel tactile. Use timber treated for exterior use that will weather to a soft gray, stones that patinate, and metals like corten that develop a warm rusted finish. Opt for outdoor fabrics that are quick dry and UV resistant, with removable covers for washing. Keep a palette of 2 to 3 material types to avoid visual clutter and small spaces. The benefit is longevity and coherence. Materials that harmonize and age gracefully reduce replacement costs and make the space feel cohesive. Plan irrigation efficiently for small-scale planting. A drip irrigation system with a simple timer and moisture sensor can keep containers and beds healthy without daily fuss. For very small yards, a watering wand and a rain barrel may suffice. Group plants by water needs. Mediterranean herbs together, moisture lovers in shaded pockets, so your irrigation can be zoned and efficient. The benefit is water conservation and simplicity. Targeted watering means healthier plants and less time spent carrying heavy cans. Link multifunction into single design moves to save space. Use a bench with internal storage for cushions and tools. Choose a bench that doubles as a planting ledge. Install a narrow shelf along a wall for potted herbs and cups. Use multi-level planting stands to give vertical depth without occupying much floor. The benefit is efficient use of square footage. Clever furniture and multi-purpose features let a small yard do many things well. Add edible and sensory touches to keep the yard useful and intimate. Plant dwarf fruit trees in containers, espalier apples or pears on a warm wall, include a small salad bed, and keep pots of basil, mint, and chives within arm's reach of the kitchen door. Include tactile plants such as lamb's ear and scented geraniums by the bench to invite touching, and leave a small ceramic pot with seasonal cut flowers on the table. The image is a garden that feeds and soothes. The benefit is frequent interaction. Edible and sensory elements make the oasis part of daily routines and increase stewardship.